I'd like to suggest as a general principle that we find a way to distinguish between laws that are effective and just feel-good legislation. And I think a lot of us are just thinking about feel-good legislation. It won't be effective in the end.
I just think that modifying our access to weaponry is a more immediate solution to the problems that we have here in the United States with violence. The mental health road that you suggest, and I agree with, we definitely need some more mental health support. But that is a cultural change, that is a mindset change, that is a very, very long solution to our problem. And I think we're just trying to get a few more weapons off the street. We're not going to be able to control every single person, but if we reduce the amount of bullets and the amount of weapons that are out there a little bit more, then maybe that's one less life that we're going to lose. And I applaud the Second Amendment. I think the Second Amendment is just fine. You can have your personal pistol or whatever you call it. I don't like guns. I don't understand them. I don't, have that, obviously. But you can have that if you feel the need to protect yourself in your own home. But let's limit, the ones that are at large out there.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. The Newtown situation was a tragedy. I have children, I have grandchildren, and I think unless you go through it, you can't imagine the grief that you're going to feel in that. And, fortunately, I haven't gone through it. But there's legislation being proposed. It's being proposed as an emotional reaction to a very bad situation. And it's being proposed without logic behind it. And I'll give you an example here. First of all, the FBI puts out statistics. In 2011, there were 12,664 homicides in the United States. Of that number, 323 were committed with rifles, of which so-called assault rifles are a subset. And the best estimate is that assault rifles account for about half of that. So that's like 150 homicides out of 12,664. Yet we're concentrating a lot of our attention on so-called assault rifles. If you look at other objects used in homicides, there were 496 blunt instruments used, baseball bats and hammers. I don't hear anybody proposing to ban hammers and baseball bats.
Okay.
And then there are 726 homicides with personal weapons, hands, feet, and fists. And so we've got assault rifles accounting for 150 homicides out of 12,664, and we're concentrating on that. And it's because people don't feel good about certain weapons. And this is what really bothers me, is that we're proposing legislation without looking at the facts and the underlying logic of what we should be doing.
Your solution.
Another point of statistics, the incident of violent crime has been going down in the United States. It's been going down steadily. This is the FBI graph, if any of you can see it. But from 2007 to 2011, there was a significant decline. Now, when you further look at the statistics of homicides, they're centered around the big metropolitan areas, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, and this is where you have gangs. And this is where you have the strictest gun laws in the nation. And this is where we have the highest crime rate and the highest homicides. And the reason is, you have major social problems in this country. You have these gangs, you have poverty and the like, and it's not the honest people, the honest, law-abiding citizens that you're trying to control with some feel-good gun legislation. So I would urge you to take a look at the statistics and test every one of your proposals and say, would that have prevented the tragedy at Newtown? And I would suggest to you that none of the laws you're proposing that deal with guns would have saved any of those children. We had a mentally disturbed individual using a legally owned firearm to go in and and murder kids. Now, if you look at Africa, the paper's full of the massacres that are going on, and these are people that are using machetes. And I would suggest to you that if you put 23 kids in a closed room with only one exit, and one guy has a weapon, whether it's a hammer, a machete, an assault rifle, a pistol, or whatever, they're going to kill those kids. And so you need security. I agree that that's one of the things that you need, but you don't need these random feel-good pieces of gun legislation. So test everything before you start.